Today we are going to understand another important topic. But before this, I just hope you have gone through your tenses video. If your tenses are clear, then this topic is nothing. It's absolutely very clear because they are very deeply connected. So if your tenses concept is absolutely clear, it's absolutely clear in your mind, and after that, this is going to be way easier for you, right? So yes, active voice and passive voice. Let's move further to know all about it. First and foremost, the definition. Voice is that form of the transitive verb that shows whether the subject of the sentence is the doer of the action or has the action done to it. Now, here you have to understand, see, whenever you're doing voice, okay, you have to understand which is the subject, which is the verb, and which is the object. It will be much more clearer as we see the example ahead. So you need to just understand that one important thing, that you have to see whether the subject of the sentence is the doer of the action, all right, is the subject doing the action, or has the action done on it. See, this point will get way clearer when we will see the example further. But before we do that, let's look at the rules. Now, the object of the active sentence becomes the subject of the verb in the passive voice. I think this will be way clearer if I connect you to this, right? Now, just as we said earlier, here active is Ram killed Ravan, right? Now here, who is the subject? Ram, right? What is killed? It's the verb. Ram killed whom? Ravan. Ravan is your object. So whenever you're doing the voice, right, whenever you are changing the voice of a sentence, you have to know the subject, verb, and object, because if you don't know that, it is not going to be possible for you to convert it, to transform it. Now, this is Ram killed Ravan. Here Ram is doing the action, so it is active voice. Let's look at the passive. Ravan was killed by Ram. Now here what is it? Here the action happened. Okay, it happened by him. He is not doing. Here he is the doer. Here Ram is the doer, whereas here he is, it has been done by him. So that's the difference in active and passive. Now here it all depends whether you want to concentrate on the doer, right? If you want to focus on the subject, you write active, right? But if you want to focus on the action, Ravan was killed by Ram, here you want to focus on the action, then you will use the passive voice. So it all depends. Actually, passive voice, it's not that we don't use it. We do use it. It all depends on what you want to put your focus on. Here, the active is telling you what the subject does, and the passive is the focus on the action. So it all depends on what you want to focus, right? So here you see Ram is the subject, killed is the verb, and Ravan is the object. Okay, so subject, verb, object. This is very important for you to understand. Just in case you don't know how to get the object, I'll tell you that. Ram killed what? Ram killed whom? You have to ask two questions, what or whom. If you are getting the answer to any one of them, that becomes your object. So we are getting here, Ram killed whom? Ravan. So Ravan is the object. Now what happens in the passive voice? Your object comes here, okay? It becomes the subject here, and Ram gets interchanged and it goes behind. Killed becomes was killed. Why? Because killed is in the past tense. I will do that further with you. But right now you just need to understand how the subject and the object are interchanged and the change takes place. You need to understand that first, right? So let's go back to the rules. We just discussed this. The object of the active sentence becomes the subject of the verb in the passive voice. The preposition by is put before it. So you remember, Ravan was killed by Ram. The main verb of the active sentence changes into the past participle. So now killed is there, was killed remains, that's the past participle. The form of the verb to be, that is MR, was, were, being or been, is placed before the main verb according to the tense. Just remember this, keep this in your mind. I will be getting to the table ahead where all this will be getting absolutely clear. The auxiliary verb is changed according to the new subject in number and person. All that will come where it is was, is it singular, is it were, is it plural. So accordingly we will change. Right now this, remember these rules and we will be applying them further. Okay. Now, one more important thing. Now, for example, it is Ram killed Ravan. Now, instead of Ram, it would have been he. Okay? He killed Ravan. Instead of the noun Ram, you have he, which is a pronoun. Now, when I interchange the subject and the object, right? Now, he will go behind. So, Ravan was killed by, will I say he? No. You're right. I will say him. Okay. So Ravan was killed by him. Okay. The subject pronoun becomes the object pronoun. So likewise, if any of these pronouns are there in the beginning of your sentence, they will change to the respective object pronouns. I becomes me. We becomes us. You remains you. She becomes her, he becomes him, they becomes them, and it remains it, obviously. Yes? So you have to remember these changes. See, once this base has been made very strong, then all your sentences will go perfectly correct. There will be no issue at all. You cannot even, lose half a mark. So don't worry about it. Just concentrate on the rules first. Understand this extremely well. As we go further, you will know it more. Now, this is the tense chart. Now, here you need to understand if your sentence is in these various tense forms, what are the changes and how do they take place. This is extremely important. This is the main thing for you to pay attention to. So, all ears open. Now, when you remember in your tenses video, I had told you simple, indefinite. Now, indefinite means simple. So, when it is present simple, your sentence, right? Like, I read a book, that's your present simple. So, what does it change to? It changes to is MR plus verb in the third form. Now, I'll just go on telling you. So, I read a book. Now, a book is read by me. Now here we are taking the example of see. So see becomes seen, right? So here it will be is seen, am seen or are seen when it comes to indefinite, when it comes to simple present. I'll give you another example. Like I said, I read a book. So a book is read by me. I becomes me, right? Likewise, you have those other tenses, you have these other sentences where you can apply the is MR forms because it is present simple. If I am talking of a continuous tense, now, he is seeing a movie. Generally, it is he is watching a movie, right? He is watching a movie. A movie is being watched. If it is verb watched, here it is seen, for example, but I am giving you another example to make things more clearer. So, the movie is being watched by him. He is watching by him, right? Now, you have to remember, the continuous does not go. The continuous ing remains, but in which form? In the being form. This is extremely important for you to understand. This being form has to be there. The moment it is present continuous, of course, if it is present, then you have is MR, right? If you have continuous, you have to have the being, right? And these are your verb 3. These are your past participles, right? Likewise, perfect tense. Now when I talk of present perfect, remember the keywords in the tenses I had mentioned, has or have plus verb 3. So the same thing is here, has or have plus been. For example, he has read a novel. Okay, now if I want to change that, now has read, perfect tense. Now here I want to make it into the passive voice. How will I make it into passive voice? I'll say a novel has been read by him. Has, remember they said as per the subject it will change. So a novel has been read by him. Likewise, if something is plural, comics have been read by the children. So in that case it will be have, right? So this clears your present forms, the present simple, the present continuous and the present perfect. You have to remember the keywords. They are way important. If you know this, I mean, we have done this, we have been doing this I think since grade 6. So I'm sure by now it's pretty clear, but a quick recap is always required. Now, the same thing, absolutely the same rules apply to the past. You can see it right here in front of you. If I'm talking of is, am, are, the only change is it becomes was, were. If I'm again talking here is, am, are, same thing is was, were, the being remains same, right? And if I'm talking of the perfect tense, the has and have changes to had. Been, seen remains the same. Absolutely same. You have to just remember this. If you're thorough with this, you're thorough with all of it. Main important point. I'll tell you how to go about. Now, like we had the sentence Ram killed Ravan, okay? You have to go stepwise. Just follow these 4 steps, okay? 1, subject, Ram, verb, killed, object, Ravan. What is the tense? That's your 4th step. Your 4th step is killed. Killed is the verb. Which tense is it? Past tense. Now what you will do? Now you will interchange subject and object. Once you interchange, now you know it is past tense. It is a simple past tense. So was will come. So Ravan was killed. Now killed is your past participle by Ram. That's it. It's very simple. Please go step by step. Follow the 4 steps. Get the subject, get the verb, get the object and get the tense of the verb. And then start working on your sentence. And how you start working on your sentence? We interchange subject and object. We change places, right? And then as per the tense, depending on which tense it is, you will add your helping verbs and apply the formula. That's all you have to do. Now, moving to the future tense. Now, here if I tell you, I will eat a pizza, right? Now, I, subject, will eat, verb, a pizza, object. I got it? Now, I got my 3 things. What is the 4th thing? Will eat. Which tense is it? Future tense, right? Now, what I'm supposed to do? Now, I'm supposed to make this active voice into passive voice. So, let's look at this. I will eat a pizza. A pizza will be eaten by me. You see, eaten is your 3rd form. Again, I'm reminding you in the tenses, we had spoken about the verb 3. Eat, ate, eaten. Now, eat is the first form, the base form. Ate is the past tense and the 3rd form is your past participle, verb 3. So, we use that whenever we are doing this here. Now, you have to remember, future continuous has no change. It will not be affected. So, we don't get sentences in active voice in the future tense continuous form because it does not change. Now, coming to the future perfect, right? Again, I take the book sentence or a novel sentence. I will have read a novel by tomorrow. Okay? I will have read a novel by tomorrow. I, subject, will have read, verb, a novel, object. Now by tomorrow I will not touch. Let it be where it is. I am not going to touch this. My concern is what? Subject, verb and object. What is there after the object, just let it be. Don't bother. Alright. Now I will have read a novel. Again, I got my subject, I got my verb, I got my object. Now I need the tense of the verb. Will have read. It is will, future, have, perfect. So that sentence is future perfect. So I will have read a novel. A novel will have been read by me. A novel will have been read by me. Do you get it? Yes? Keep trying, it's not an issue. See, once you do a lot of practice, you will get familiar with all. You don't have to sit and memorize. And quite often, again, it's always the case, if you are a fluent speaker, you will never face these issues. It will automatically, you will feel the, the formation of the sentence is somewhere wrong. I need to correct it. Automatically, you will understand it. So don't worry about that. Yeah? Okay. Yes. Now you remember we said future continuous does not change. Also, along with that, now we have 4 types of verbs we had learned in the tenses. Simple present, present continuous, present perfect continuous. Now here what we saw the changes in simple present, present continuous and present perfect. Where is the 4th one? You remember? Present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous. All these 3 and future continuous, they don't change into passive voice. We need to remember that. It's for our knowledge that these 4 tenses, these 4 forms do not change into the passive voice. Now, you will come across different types of sentences when you are converting, transforming sentences from active to passive or even passive to active. Remember, in your exams, there will be transformation of sentences. They will not tell you, they will just tell you change the voice. They will not tell you change it into active or change it into passive. It's for you to decide, to analyze whether your sentence is in the active mode or is it in the passive mode. Obviously, how you will get it? Again, you will get your subject first. Then you will check, is the subject doing the action? If the subject is doing the action, then it is an active voice. If the subject is not doing the action, then your sentence is in the passive voice. And most of the times, mostly, I am not saying always, mostly in a passive voice, you will have the element by, by, but that's not always the case. If it is there, automatically it's a passive voice, or else you need to work on it, you need to analyze and find out. So yeah, coming back to sentences where you have modal auxiliaries. Now modal auxiliaries we know can, could, shall, should, may, might, will, would, must, all these types, right? Now when you have modal auxiliaries in your sentences, how do you convert such sentences into passive or active, depending? Now what does it mean? Here it will be, the form of the passive sentences will be modal plus be plus past participle, right? So let's go for it. She can speak Chinese. Now here subject is she, can speak, so she is doing the action, she is speaking, Chinese is the object. Now let's interchange, and here obviously now it's a modal auxiliary, so it's no tense form, right? So it's in the present. So object comes to subject, subject goes to object, she changes to her. You remember? Good. Chinese can be spoken. Modal plus be plus verb 3. Modal plus be plus verb 3. Right? The same formula that we applied. So when you have a modal auxiliary in your sentence, this is how you will do the conversion. Another one, we must preserve the tigers. We, subject, must preserve, verb, tigers, object. It is a modal auxiliary, it is with the present form, We will interchange places of the subject and the object. Now, tigers must be preserved. Now, you will know further. Basically, you will ask me, why not by us? We changes to us, right? But I'll tell you further, when at times you don't need to give this. You don't need to give that in the object pronoun. As we get further, you will know why I'm saying that. So far, I hope it's clear. These are your sentences when you're changing the voice, when you have modal auxiliaries in your sentences. Moving further. Now, you want to convert questions into passive. What type of questions? Questions which have the answer yes or no. When you ask WH questions, why, when, where, in that case, you don't have a yes or a no. You have something as your answer, right? You have something. When did you study? You have, I studied an hour before. I did my homework an hour before. You have an answer. But when you don't have those WH questions, there are questions which ask you and your answer is seemingly yes or a no, right? So let's see this, how we convert such sentences. Can you speak English? Can English be spoken by you? Let me bring this to your notice. Do you see? There was a can auxiliary, right? Now here, can you speak English? Obviously, your answer is a yes or a no, right? In that case, what happens? Can remains as it is. Can English, it comes here, English be spoken. Here it is speak, but here it is the third form. You remember in the auxiliary we just did it before. It is the modal plus be plus verb 3. So modal plus be plus verb 3, right? So can English be spoken by you? The question remains a question. You cannot convert it into a sentence. Remember that. Be careful about it. Has he helped them? Again, has he helped them? Now, what does this indicate? Has and verb 3. What tense does it indicate? Perfect. Very good. It's the perfect tense. Now, how do we convert a perfect tense? You remember? It was has plus been plus verb 3, right? So, same here. Has he helped them? Helped them. Now, them will come here. It will become they. It's changing. Here it is the object pronoun them. I cannot bring have them been helped. I obviously will say have they been helped by him. He will go cross. It will become him. So do you see the changes? Right? Have they been helped by him? Did you get it? Yes? Great. Let's move further. Did you help him? Now, the moment you see did, it is an understood factor that it is in the past tense. Okay? Did you help him? Now, you is the subject, help him is the object. Again, did when I see, I'm telling you it's a past tense. What do we do? Let's swap the you and the him. So, him will come here in subject. What does it become? It becomes he, right? Was he helped by you? Can you see? The did is changing to was in the passive voice. The did is changing to was. Him becomes he, you remains you. We had already seen it in that list. So, was he helped by you? Right? So, in this case, do or does plus subject plus verb 1 plus object, you will make it as is MR plus object plus verb 3. Now, here when we are talking of do does, like here you have did changes to was. If your sentence has do or does, it will change to is MR. We have to remember this. Yes? Again, with practice, it's definitely possible. So, don't lose heart here. Please don't lose heart at all. You can watch the video again and get the rules, but it is really very simple. Every mark counts. So don't think it'll come just for 1 or 2 marks. It's okay if I let it go. Don't do that. You should always know everything. Don't get discouraged. Always learn. Try doing a lot of practice and you will definitely master it. So don't bother. Now, another type of sentence that can be asked, to convert into passive voice are your imperative sentences. First and foremost, my question to you is, do you know what are imperative sentences? I hope yes. I hope the answer is a yes. Anyways, I'm repeating it for you. Imperative sentences express command or order, request, suggestion, etc. While changing imperative sentences into passive voice, we use verbs like advise, request, order, etc. Now, I'll give you just 2-3 sentences and you need to, understand what do I mean by an imperative sentence. Open the book, shut the door, watch the video, listen attentively. What did I tell you? I was talking to you. So I did not tell you, you watch the video, you listen attentively. No, I was giving direct commands. I was saying, listen to the video, watch the video, listen attentively. I was going on giving you commands, right? Those are imperative sentences. They don't have a subject in the beginning of a sentence. Can you look at this? Here it is in front of you. Active voice. Your sentence is saying, please post this letter. Now here it is asking you, it is a request. So please is coming. Please post this letter. Now here you is not given. It is not given. There is no subject. Can you see? Your sentence is beginning directly with a verb. Shut the door. Never tell a lie. Here it is giving you direct either a request or a command, right? And here you don't have a subject. But when we convert these imperative sentences into passive, what do? Here we assume the you. Now when I am telling please post this letter, obviously I am telling somebody, right? There is an interaction between somebody. If I am telling someone shut the door, I am telling one person. I am looking at someone and I am saying shut the door. If I am telling somebody never tell a lie, I am looking at someone and saying never tell a lie, right? I am not saying you, but that you is assumed. Okay, you have to assume you, right? So please post this letter. You are requested to post this letter. Now because we have a please, we have a request. Yes, we already said it. We use verbs like advise, request, order, etc. Because it is please, we use the word requested, and of course you have to assume the you. It is not here. You have to assume. Shut the door. You are ordered to shut the door. Now you are ordering somebody, right? So you are ordered to shut the door. Here shut the door, and here you have to remember you are ordered. Okay? Never tell a lie. Now this sentence it can be done in 2 ways. When you want to convert it into a passive voice, it can be done in 2 ways. Here we go. Let a lie never be told. Never tell a lie. Let a lie. You have to remember this. Let a lie never be told, or a lie should never be told. Either ways, it's totally up to you how you remember it, but this is how we convert our imperative sentences. I hope it's crystal clear. Coming to an example, you understood how to go about. Now you need to understand how to even use it. Now I have already said it before, till 8th you had sentences, you were given a simple sentence in the active voice or in the passive voice, and all you were asked was to change the voice. That was sentence wise. Now talking of 9th, 10th and further down, we have changed the voice, but we have it in the form of editing and omission. right? You have to analyze how to do it. So now when we read the paragraph, first, like I've already mentioned to you, we will just simply read the paragraph. We will not say where the mistake, what it is, but we will read the paragraph. Then second time we will go around seeing how we can edit the paragraph. Yeah. So the following passage has not been edited. There is a word missing in each line. Now here there is nothing is wrong. Wrong is what? That the word is missing. Find the missing word and write it along with one word that comes before it and one that comes after it. So basically there is one word missing. Now where I write the word, when you are going to write your answers here, you are going to write the word that comes before it, the actual word which was missing, and the word that comes after it. So you have to write it in the blanks provided to you. Yeah. So I'll just read it first for you. You try thinking while I'm reading what can be added. Let's go. He asked to go down to the end of the garden. He was also to wash himself in water of the river there. The same water was and sprinkled over everything. I'm sure you're guessing your words. Which had changed into gold by Midas's touch. The king felt a weight had lifted from his heart. He freed of the golden touch. Now, let's work on this. Very important. Come on, let's do it together. Come on, you need to tell me this. He asked to go down to the end of the garden. He asked to go down. Okay, here we go. He was asked to go down to the end of the garden. So here when you will write he was asked. I will just write one for you and then you need to do the rest yourself, right? He was asked. Okay, he was asked. So like they said, you have to mention a word one before, that's one before and one after, and was missing. So he was asked to go down to the end of the garden. He was also to wash himself in the water of the river there. He was also to wash. He was also told. Yes, he was also told to wash. So what will you write there? Also told to. Also told to. Alright, he was also told to wash himself in the water of the river there. The same water was dashed and sprinkled over everything. We remember the story, the Midas, the golden touch, right? So this is from there. So the same water was brought. The same water was brought and was brought and sprinkled over everything. So what will you write there? Was brought and. In that blank you will write was brought and. Okay. Moving further. Which had changed into gold by Midas's touch. Now, let's read it again. The same water was brought and sprinkled over everything, which had changed into gold by Midas's touch. Which had changed? Which had been changed. Which had been changed. So here you're going to write had been changed. Alright, had been changed. So one word prior, one word post. Now, into gold by Midas's touch. The king felt a weight had lifted. Now, had lifted, had been lifted. Alright, had been lifted. Alright. Okay, moving further. The king felt a weight had been lifted from his heart. He freed of the golden touch. Is it sounding correct? Yes, he was freed. He was freed. Alright, so here it goes. He was freed. Done? Good enough? You can always attempt many more and understand how to go about. Not an issue at all. So yes, here you have the answers. You can practice them on your own and then check and make sure that you have done it correctly. Okay, one more example. Let's look at it, how we can go about. Now see, quite often you get MCQ. You get these in the MCQ form. You have 4 options. Now at times they might seem pretty confusing to you, but I'm sure you can, get it once you read the whole thing. So let's go for it. It dash decide to change the pattern of question paper. It dash hope that the new pattern dash like by the students. Now we have read it. Always and always read the entire thing before you start working on it. Okay, so what are you supposed to do in the first and foremost? Complete the following passage by choosing the correct passive forms of the verbs given in the brackets from the alternatives given below the passage. Now here what you have are the passive forms, right? Now you have to make sure that you use the correct one. So let's start. It dash decide to change the pattern of the question paper. So it is decided, it will be decided, it has been decided, or it is being decided. Can you tell me the answer? Yes, you're right. It has been decided. It has been decided to change the pattern of the question paper. It dash hope. Now, it has been hoped, it was hoped, it will be hoped, or it is hoped. What do you think? What should be the answer? Yes, because it has been decided, so it is hoped that the new pattern dash by the students, that the new pattern has been liked, will be liked, was liked, or had been liked. Obviously, will be liked. So now let's read the entire paragraph along with the answers. It has been decided to change the pattern of the question paper. It is hoped that the new pattern will be liked by the students. Clear, isn't it? Yes, perfect. This is how you're going to solve them. So even if you get this, don't worry, just attempt it in the same manner. Yeah, here you have your answer. You can try it once again. And so, this brings us to the end of another important chapter, active voice and passive voice. I'm sure the rules are crystal clear in your mind by now, and make sure you keep reading them 2-3 times, and the more you practice, whenever you are going to solve your sentences, kindly make sure that you refer to the rules. Yes, please refer them till you get the hang of it. Once you get the hang of it, it's done. Not a problem. You won't even have the need to look at the rules. Yeah. So, let's conclude the chapter. I have taught the chapter. Now here I give myself importance, right? So I have taught. I is the subject. Have taught the chapter. Have taught is your verb. The chapter is your object. Yes, concluding it on a very, active and a passive note. Now this was the active note, and the passive note. The chapter has been understood by you. I hope, wish and pray that the chapter has been understood by you, right? So keep watching and make sure you keep revising the rules and implement the same. So yes, keep watching and keep learning.